Hello everyone, this is Maya Zahira with Psychic Protection Sanctuary, and we are now live in our free Facebook group, Psychic Protection Sanctuary. In today's Facebook Live, we're going to do part 2 of our topic, Can Someone Sell Their Soul to the Devil? Now, last week we covered this topic, part 1. And after we were done, some people were asking questions, and I was also thinking about it some more, and I realized there's so much more to say about this topic. And even what I'll cover today is not even going to touch the tip of the iceberg of what all there is to say about this. But I'm sure it will be very interesting. So stick around. And also, as always, I'm going to start off with a few announcements, and then we will get into our topic for today. All right, so if you are looking for information on everything that I do and how you can go deeper, perhaps even work with me, do one of my programs, you can find all of the information about that at my website, which is psychicprotectionsanctuary.com. I also have a YouTube channel, which is called Psychic Protection Sanctuary. And we also have a free Facebook group, also called Psychic Protection Sanctuary. I have 2 books. My first book is Darkness Disguised as Light. And my second book is the Psychicattack Sourcebook. And if you look up my name, Maya Zahira, you'll find those books on Amazon, and they are full of information. All right. And then the last announcement, the 2 short announcements. The first is that right now we're on a schedule of doing Facebook Lives once a week on, I had to think for a second, every Tuesday, every Tuesday, and it's at 5:30 Pacific, and you can adjust that to your time zone. Okay, so right now we're on a weekly schedule. Previously, we were doing it once a month, and now we're doing it more often. Each of these videos gets uploaded onto YouTube, so the public can have access to this content. I purposely do not edit these videos, however it goes with coughing or rant, going off topic or whatever. It's all good. We just keep on going. Final announcement is that if you really want to work with me in a mentorship program, I encourage you to apply on my website, psychicprotectionsanctuary.com, for my 12-month academy, and it's called Spiritual Empowerment Academy. And you can read all the information about that on there. I won't go over it here now, because we want to spend most of our time talking about our topic. Those of you who are joining live, go ahead and say hello. Let us know where you're joining from. I am here in southern Arizona. I was living in Tucson until a year ago, and now I'm out in the country, outside of a small town, and I get to look out the window and see the mountains and have mostly warm weather year-round. It gets a little bit chilly in the winter, but it's beautiful here. So where are you joining from? Let's see if I can get your comments going. And I'm going to jump in. So, can someone sell their soul to the devil? The answer is yes. Oh, and Buddy is saying hi. Oh, sorry. I need my granny glasses. And I've got them right here in case I need them. Becky, not Buddy. My eyesight is so bad. It's Becky from Rockland, Maine. Very good to have you here. I gotta laugh at myself. I've got my glasses here just in case if I cannot read a comment. Okay, so I don't want to repeat too much from our topic from last week, part 1. And I will be sure to post part 1 wherever you're watching this. I'll make sure that part 1 is nearby. So But I do want to repeat that, yes, absolutely, a person can sell their soul to the devil. Most likely, if you are drawn to my content, you're probably not a person who has done that. I tend to attract people who are pretty wholesome, who wouldn't tend towards that. But honestly, there's no judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. And sometimes people have been faced with unusual circumstances or really dire circumstances in which they felt that they had no choice. And if you're watching this and you feel that you might have, or you're definitely sure that you have made a deal with the devil, sold your soul to the devil, however you want to word it, or made a soul contract with the demonic realm, etc., then there actually is there's hope for everybody. Okay, but some of you might be watching this because you're wondering about someone in your life whose behavior tells you that maybe they have perhaps made a deal like this. So you're trying to understand someone in your life. Okay, so let's unpack a bit more about how this works. Again, I do go more into last week's video. I kind of go on a sidebar about how people can get help if they have unfortunately made a deal. I'm not going to repeat all of that. And I also went over certain scenarios of how they could make a deal with the devil, and I'm not going to repeat those. I'm going to go over some different scenarios today that I didn't cover last week. Okay, so if you're a note taker, get your pen and paper, and of course we got to keep it real. My cat wants to jump up and knock the camera over. I'm sure she wants to. Okay, so today these 3 different ways are not in any particular order, whereas in last week's video, hi, gonna join us? In last week's video, I hope the camera does not get knocked down. This cat is over 21 years old, so she has the right, she gets to be the boss of everything. So that's the rule here. She gets to be the boss. Beautiful black kitty. Yes. Okay, so last week I went through some things that were in order of severity. Today, these are in no particular order, okay? So these are some different ways that someone could possibly sell their soul to the devil. These are not the only ways. Number 1, a person could do spell work, black magic, whatever you want to call it. There's so many different words depending on the tradition, but I like to just use the general terms. They might do a spell, black magic, or ritual, either solo or maybe with a friend, in which they make an agreement with the dark side, whatever aspect of the dark side. Today, we're talking about the devil, Satan, but it could be any aspect. There's so many aspects of the dark side. So they do some kind of black magic, spell work, ritual in order to make an agreement with the demonic realm in exchange for favors of fame, fortune, power, etc. Okay, so they are like, hey, I think it would be a good idea to do this. And there's actually a lot of books out there that give all sorts of spells. Like, books on black magic are easier to get your hands on nowadays than literally ever before. And I want to make a clarification here, because I was responding to a very nice gentleman a couple days ago on my YouTube channel, and it brought to mind that I want to clarify this right now, that when I'm talking about spell work, black magic specifically being problematic, I'm a very open-minded person. And so I'm not one of those people who is across the board anti-magic, across the board anti-esoteric knowledge, across the board all of that stuff. So when I speak of this stuff, I am talking very, very specifically about magical practices / esoteric practices, occult practices that are used specifically to call upon dark beings, and or that are used specifically to harm someone or infringe upon their free will. Okay, so that's what I mean. I think there's a lot of important knowledge in the field of occult, of esotericism. So I don't think we should throw the baby out with the bathwater. We should not throw it all out. So that's just a little clarification there. So back to our lesson. Number one way that a person can sell their soul to the devil is that they intentionally, knowingly, willingly do some kind of ritual in order to make an agreement in exchange for what they want. Okay. And then now related to this, number two, this might sound like the same thing, but it's a little bit different. So number one, I'm talking about their intention from the start is to create an agreement so they can get what they want in return, to make an agreement to sell their soul. Like, it's very intentional. I give you this and I get that. But number two on the list is less straightforward with that exact intention. However, the person is calling on demons or other dark entities to do their bidding. Now, again, like I said, it sounds like the same thing, but like I said, there are more books on dark magic than ever before. And it's become very popular for people to pick up books with these practices and to say, oh, this looks cool. In fact, just for research purposes, I have read some of these books because I try to read, I try to know what's out there. I'm not afraid to read anything. So I've picked up some of these books, and the authors seem friendly, down to earth, and they're saying, yeah, you can call on demons to do, like, you can call in a demon and have it do your whatever your work is that you want. So you're calling it in and binding it in order to do your bidding, or you're not binding it, but you're trying to create a friendly relationship with it so that it will do what you ask it to. And when I've read those books, I'm sitting there going, oh my God, like, who would even think this is a good idea? I respect that there are lots of different views out there, and probably the people who are writing these books maybe have had different experiences than I have. But with my own personal experiences and being someone who has worked with clients over the years who have gotten themselves in trouble by doing that spell work, and then I have to help them detangle from that, I look at those books and I'm like, why? Or maybe the authors are not as well-meaning as I'd like to hope. Maybe they're intentionally trying to get people to do these practices. But that's neither here nor there. What it comes down to is that these books are out there and people can easily pick up these books or even Google it. Look online and find spells on how to call on demons or other dark forces to do your bidding. And even though the person might not be specifically stating that they are making a deal with the devil, what is happening though is that when they're doing this spell work with these demons or other dark beings, they are actually binding themselves to those beings. It binds that person to that realm, to the demonic realm or whatever realm they're working with. And I say emphatically, don't do it. Even if there is no formal vow, it is assumed. Because what I've noticed about all negative forces is that they have no interest in following what is fair. They have no interest in following rules. They will bend and break rules left and right. So even if there is no formal vow, it is assumed that the person is binding themselves to the demonic realm, the hell realm, the dark forces, whatever they're working with. And the person may be held to it. They may be held to that agreement. So be careful. Okay. And then number 3 on the list is actually stronger and a worse scenario. Well, all these scenarios are bad, but number 3 is the most severe of today's list. And that this would be if a person takes part in a collective ritual. A collective ritual. For example, a satanic ritual, which binds them into that satanic coven. If they do take part in that ritual, even if it's not totally willingly, it does create a contract. And this is where we get into, unfortunately, people who have been born into families where there is satanic ritual abuse, SRA. And so the child at any particular age, whether they're very young or a teenager, they are forced by the family to do a particular ritual, which binds them either to the coven or to the demonic realm or to whatever force that family or group is worshiping. Okay, because it does not have to be satanic ritual. There are various other dark cults out there in existence. Okay, and it also doesn't have to be that someone was born into a family. It can be some other scenario where someone gets sucked into it as an adult. But what is held in common in number 3 is that it is a collective ritual. It's part of a collective dark ritual. So in the collective dark ritual, just one person might be making the vow where everyone else is gathering around to, quote, support that person. Or it could be a scenario where several or all of the members are making that vow all at once. And those kinds of group rituals are extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. Just like with any scenario, when we gather people together, whether it's for something positive or negative, gathering people together in prayer is going to have a more positive effect than one single person. And the same is true with the negative ritual. It's going to be so much more powerful. So if you're watching this and you either have clear memories or repressed memories that are starting to come through, or you suspect that this kind of thing may have happened, do not lose hope. There is, I believe there's hope for everyone, but there is work to be done. There's work to be done. And I do feel very strongly that a person in that scenario who's trying to get out of that kind of vow really needs some good, solid help with someone who is very trustworthy and is not working at all with the dark forces. That would describe me, but I know I'm not the only person on the planet who can help people with this issue. So find someone who fits that description. And I feel very strongly it does need to be someone who does not work with the dark forces. That might seem obvious to many people who are watching, but sometimes I've met many people who were in desperate straits, whether they were trying to unbind a vow like this, or they were under serious psychic attack. They were feeling so desperate that they found the first person that they could find to help them, who happened to be a practitioner of the dark arts, who promised that they could undo the vow. And usually what happens is that more entanglements are made and it's a bigger mess. So be careful with that. Only work with someone that you know is not working with the dark forces. Also, don't choose someone who's very like fluffy, love and light, no negativity exists, because that's not going to help you either. You need to find someone who's really grounded. Okay, find someone who's grounded and who really understands this stuff and understands that there is some level of danger in undoing these vows. Usually not mortal danger, but there is something called booby traps where if a psychic attack, a curse, or a negative vow is attempted to be undone, then sometimes it can unleash a whole bunch of other issues. In other words, a booby trap. And you need to work with someone who understands what that is and has the psychic abilities to be able to see and identify that so it can be avoided. Okay. As we're going, do we have any questions? And also a shout out to those of you watching the replay. If you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to comment. That is all that I wanted to share today on Can Someone Sell Their Soul to the Devil, Part 2. But I did want to just kind of go over onto a side topic for a few minutes here before we close. And this is some information about the hell realms. Now, there's another video that I'm going to refer to, and I will be sure to also include this video, this other video that I'm referring to, somewhere nearby this one, so you can go and watch it. I have a video that I did a while back. It's called A Medium's View of the Afterlife. And I have all the clairs, and I receive visions, and I also am a medium because I connect with people's loved ones on the other side. And with that work, with the mediumship work, one of the things that I'm able to do is to see what they're doing on the other side, where they are, what the other side looks like. So I'm not going to go too much into the positive afterlife realms, the heaven realms, because I do talk about that in my video, A Medium's View of the Afterlife. But I do want to touch a little bit and talk about the hell realms, because that applies to this idea, can someone sell their soul to the devil? The idea being when that person's time is up, they're going down, right? And the common, at least the common belief in at least the Christian tradition is that hell is one location. It's like a separate place that's really bad, and there's fire and torture and demons and Satan, and once you go there, you're there for all eternity being tortured. Okay. So I recognize that that is a very common belief, but I've been seeing aspects of the other side for I don't know how many years, since I was a teenager when I first started to have visions, and I'm 50 years old now, so many years of tuning in and seeing these realms and also connecting with loved ones on the other side. Never once have I seen exactly what I just described as the hell realm. What I do see is an afterlife that has many vibrational levels like this, okay? So the positive levels of the afterlife, most people, when they die, are going to go to the lower couple of rungs of the positive part of the afterlife. So like your average person who's kind of asleep, kind of like goes to work, comes home, watches TV, just not really doing very much inner work. No judgment, just saying that like that kind of average person is probably going to go to the first couple of levels. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like people are exactly where they are. And then people who are perhaps more evolved spiritually, not people who are full of ego and walking around saying that they're super evolved. That's not what I mean. I mean like people who genuinely are more evolved. They will go to the place that matches their vibration. So they will go maybe a few rungs of the ladder higher than the others. Okay. And then let's take that concept, and then there are also lower levels to the afterlife. So if we were to say like, here's the middle, and here's the upper realms, and here's the lower, like if we want to call them the hell realms, here's those lower realms. There's not like a wall or a floor or a ceiling or whatever. There's not a barrier that keeps those from the lower realms from moving up vibrationally. Because here's what we need to understand. Even when people pass away, even when they're done with this incarnation, they can still keep growing and evolving. And I've actually kept track of some of my family members over the years, at least off and on. And it's been very interesting because I've noticed that some of them that were very troubled, now they did not go to the hell realms, but they were just troubled, just kind of troubled, not evil, but just kind of troubled. They did go to the heaven realms, the lower levels of the heaven realms. But I saw even in the last 30 years, I've noticed they've moved up. They've evolved. They've experienced healing and growth. And I do believe that that can also happen with individuals who are below that midline in the lower realms. However, with that said, those beings, human beings and other beings that are so dark that they are in the lowest levels of those hell realms, it is very unlikely that they are even going to be capable of or interested in evolving and healing, at which, if they were to evolve and heal, if they were to experience some healing, just simply by the shift in their vibration alone, that would move them to the next level up. But when they're in these really low hell realms, it's very unlikely that they will move up, because they have embraced the dark so fully, and they are not wanting to give it up. Now, is there some dude with a pitchfork that's saying, none shall pass, you have to stay here? I've never seen anything like that. What I see over and over again with both the upper and the lower realms is that it is all about vibration. Whatever vibration a soul is, whatever frequency a soul is vibrating at, that matches them up with what level they are at. And I think I said this in the class last week, but it fits really well right here. Because of this vibrational aspect that I just described, like someone who is a very high vibration, evolved being filled with light is a match for these higher realms of the afterlife. And if somebody tried to curse this person and tried to, with that curse, force them against their will to be sent to the hell realms, it's literally impossible, because this vibration here cannot be down here. And also, because of such a vibrational difference, those who inhabit the hell realm, if you put this down here, it's like the worst noise to them. It literally destroys this level of the hell realm. They do not want, if you are a beautiful soul and someone has tried to curse you, or there's a family curse or something like that. In my family, there was something like that. But it's literally impossible for them, if you're here or even slightly above the midline, they don't want you down here. They do not want you in the hell realms, which is a good thing. That's a good time to be unwanted. Like, they do not want you. It's good to be wanted, but not in that case. They do not want you down there, because it literally would, it's a place that's all made of vibration, frequency. If you put a higher vibration down in this low vibration area, it literally destroys it. And it's torture to them. And it pulls all those beings apart. That's what I was just shown just now. It literally just like pulls them apart. And they don't want that. So if you fall into that category where you are afraid that someone has tried to impose a curse to send you to hell, I've never seen that being actually possible, unless the person being cursed is actually a really dark person. Okay, then vibrationally, if it's a match, that's where they're going anyway. Like, if they're already going there, then, but it's all vibration. Okay, do we have any questions? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Let me see if I've left anything out. I'm gonna look at my notes here. There's one thing that I left out about the lower realms. One phenomenon that I see, one phenomena, or is it phenomenon? I don't know. I used to be an English teacher, so I try to correct myself. When souls are right below the midline, and they're in the upper levels of the lower realms. So they're right here. And by the way, the sun is setting and all this beautiful light is shining on my face as I'm talking about this subject. So it's a dark thing to be talking about, but it's a very interesting moment over here in my house. So these beings that are in the upper levels of these lower realms, what I see that happens a lot is when they get down here, it's almost like there's gangs. It's like a gang mentality. And they really try to recruit souls to become even darker and darker and darker. And also, when we're in these upper levels of the lower realms, it's mostly human souls, but when we go further down, then we get into seeing lots of demonic entities. Okay, so because that's where they like to hang, is the mid and lowest levels. All right, well, it's good that we're wrapping up and ending, because now I need sunglasses because the sun is really shining. I wish you guys could see. I have a beautiful view out the window. Now I can't see my notes because I've got so much sun in my eyes. It's causing black spots on my notes. Okay, but I think we are done for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Christy says, makes sense. Yep. Now, today and last week we talked about, actually the last few weeks we've talked about pretty serious topics. And I do like to lighten it up sometimes. So next week's topic, we're going to be talking about something fun. Believe it or not, we do try to lighten things up. So we're going to talk about something fun and uplifting. And so if this is feeling a little heavy for you, come back next week and we're going to lift it up and lighten things up and give you some really good tips. I'm not going to tell you exactly what the topic is. You can just show up and be surprised. And again, as we wrap up, just a reminder that we do have a Facebook Live every week now, Tuesday evenings, 5:30 Pacific. Adjust to your time zone in our free Facebook group, Psychic Protection Sanctuary. And then I always post the rough cut recording of the replay onto our YouTube channel, which is also called Psychic Protection Sanctuary. If you want to learn more about Psychic Attack, my new book is now on Amazon, the Psychic Attack Sourcebook. And it is such a helpful book for people going through these situations, but also people who want to make sure to avoid those kinds of situations, as well as practitioners who want to be able to support their clients if their clients ever go through these kinds of unusual situations. So thank you again for joining us. As always, I'm sending you all my love and just some beams of this beautiful sunlight sending into your heart, sending into your energy field, just sending that as a gift if you wish to receive it, because consent is important, always, always, always. So if you want to receive some sunshine right now, go ahead and receive it. If you don't want to, then don't, because you are always the boss in charge of your energy field. You get to decide what is allowed in. Yes. Lots of love, everybody. See you next time.